Hello everyone, so today we will discuss about finding the mean and the variance of sampling distribution of sample means. So before we start our lesson, let's have first a short review in our previous lesson. So let's have the activity 1. Direction. With the given jumbled letters, complete the statements below by arranging the letters below. Number 1. The blank distribution of sample means is frequency distribution of the sample means taken from a population. So what do you think is the answer here? The blank distribution of sample means is frequency distribution of the sample means taken from a population. So it is sampling. Number 2. The blank of the sampling distribution of the sample means is a bar graph constructed by plotting the sample means along the horizontal axis and the problem along the vertical axis. So what do you think is the answer? Yes, it is the histogram. Number 3. Mean is also called the blank value. What do you think is the answer? It is expected. The mean is also called the expected value. Number 4. The blank of the sampling distribution of the sample means is equal to the mean of the population. So the jumbled letter is AMEN. So this is the mean. Number 5. Standard blank of the mean is a standard deviation of the sampling distribution of the sample mean. RORER. So the answer is the error. So the standard error of the mean is the standard deviation of the sampling distribution of the sample mean. So now let's proceed to our lesson, which is the finding the mean and variance of sampling distribution of sample means. Here are the steps in constructing the sampling distribution of the means. Number 1. Compute the mean of the population. Compute the variance of the population. Determine the number of possible samples. List all possible samples and their corresponding means. Construct the sampling distribution of sample means. Compute the mean of sampling distribution of sample means. And compute the variance of the sampling distribution of sample means. So example number 1. The following table gives the sum of tutorial rate of 6 teachers in Central Zone per month. Suppose that random samples of size 4 are taken from this population of 6 teachers. Find the mean and variance of the sampling distribution of the sample means. So here is the table, which is the teacher A, B, C, D, E, F. And this is the tutorial rate in 1,000 pesos. X, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and 28. So let's have the solution. First, we will find the population mean, which is the formula is the population mean is equal to the summation of x over n, which is x is the tutorial rate. So we have 8 plus 12 plus 16 plus 20 plus 24 plus 28. So alam niyo itong symbol na to, pag sinabi mong summation, i-just i-add lang natin sila. And then divided by n, which is the number of teachers, which is 6. So 8 plus 12 plus 16 plus 20 plus 24 plus 8, i-total natin, i-add natin, then divided by 6 equal to 18. So therefore, the population mean of the tutorial rates of the select teachers in Central Zone is 8,000 pesos per month. And then, to solve the number 2, to solve the variance and the standard deviation of the population, the given table below will be utilized. So x, ito yung ating mga tutorial rate, which is 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, and the total is 108. And on the next column, i-square lang natin yung x, which is x squared. So yung mga nandito sa value ng x, i-square lang natin siya. So 8 times 8 squared is 64, 12 squared is 144, 16 squared is 256, 20 squared is 400, 24 squared is 576, and 28 squared is 784. And then, i-add lang natin silang lahat. And the total is 2,224. Okay, so i-solve na natin yung variance and standard deviation of this table. So the variance is the formula. So the variance is equal to the summation of x squared over n minus the square of the summation of x over n. So substitute lang natin yung value nila dito. So we have here 2,224. Ito yung total ng squared ng x kanina doon sa table na nakuha natin. Over 6, which is the number of teachers, minus summation of x. Ito yung nakuha natin doon sa first column, which is x. Ang total niya is 108 divided by n, which is 6, and then squared. So 2,224 divided by 6 is 370.67, minus 108 divided by 6 is 18, and then squared mo siya, so 18 squared. And then 370.67 minus 18 squared is 324, then subtract. So we have the variance is 46.67. And for the standard deviation, i-square root lang natin yung formula dito sa right side ng variance. Okay, so we have here the same lang sila. So nakuha na natin kanina yung variance, which is 46.67. So square root mo lang siya. So the standard deviation is 6.83. Therefore, the variance of the population is 46.67 and the standard deviation is 6.83. Third step, we have determine the possible sample size of size 4. So we're looking for sample size of 4 doon sa ating given example or problem. So use the formula NCN. So itinuro ko na to last time. So we have N, for the capital N is 6, which is the 6 teachers, and the small n is the sample size 4. So makukuha natin na sample size or possible sample size is equal to 15. So there are 15 possible samples of size of 4 that can be drawn. So ano yung mga yon? So list all the possible samples and their corresponding means. So ito yung mga ating possible samples, 8, 12, 16, 20, and so on. Okay, so bilangin natin kung 15 sila. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then the sample mean. So i-add mo lang sila, itong apat, then i-divide mo siya sa 4. So ang makukuha natin dito sa una is 14, 15, 16, 16, and so on hanggang dito kay 22. So these are the possible samples and their corresponding means. Next, construct the sampling distribution table of the sample means. So we have here the sample mean. Ito yung nakuha natin kanina. Tinanggal lang natin yung mga, or ginawala natin tigisa yung mga naulit. We have 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And then the frequency, ito yung kung ilang beses nag-appear yung sample mean. So we have 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. And then the probability of the sample mean, which is out of 15. So 15 yung possible samples natin kanina. So out of 15, so frequency over 15. So we have 1 over 15, 1 over 15, 2 over 15, and so on dito. So pag i-add mo yan, itong nasa numerator niya 15, so over 15 or 1. So sabi ko dati sa lesson natin, dapat maging 1 itong total ng probability. Okay, so next step, compute the mean of the sampling distribution of the sample means. So we have here the following steps. Multiply the sample mean by the corresponding probability and then add the results. So we have here, ito yung sample mean, frequency, probability. So ang gagawin lang natin, multiply natin yung sample mean times its probability. So 14 times 1 is 14. Then just copy the denominator 15. So 14 over 15. 15 times 1 is 15 over 15. 16 times 2 is 32 over 15. And then, ganun lang din yung gagawin natin dito sa mga susunod. Okay? So, and then you just add the results. So, since pareha silang denominator, you just add the numerator. So, pag pinag-add mo to, 270 yung total. And then, over 15. So, 270 over 15 is equal to 18. So, ito yung formula ng ating mean of the sample means, which is the summation of the product of the sample mean times its probability. So 270 over 15 or equal to 18. So therefore, the mean of the sampling distribution of the sample means is 18. Okay, so kung babalikan natin yung population mean kanina, ang sagot natin doon ay 18 din. So the population mean is 18 and the mean of the sample means is 18 also. So therefore, the mean or the population mean and the mean of the sample means are equal. Next, step number 7. To solve for the variance and the standard deviation of the sampling distribution of sample means, the following steps are to be considered. First is, the following formula will be utilized to solve for the variance and the standard deviation of sampling distribution of sample means. So, ito yung formula natin sa variance. Ito naman yung sa standard deviation. So, kung mapapansin niyo, parang ni-square root lang natin yung dito sa variance. So, construct the sampling distribution table of the sample means and square the sample means and multiply the result to the probabilities. So, ito yung table natin. So, sample mean. Ito yung mga yan. Then, square lang natin yung sample mean. 14 times 14 is 196. So, probability. So, nakuha na rin natin kanina to. And then, ngayon, ang i-multiply naman natin yung square ng sample means times the probability. So 196 times 1 over 15. So ayan, 196 over 15, then 225 over 15 and 512 over 15 and so on. And then you just add them. Since parehas lang yung denominator, yung numerator lang i-add natin. So the total is 493 over 15 or 320.67. To solve for the variance standard deviation of sampling distribution of the sample means by using the given formula. So ito yung formula natin sa ating variance, which is the summation of the product of the square of the sample means and its the probability of sample means minus mean of the sample means. Okay, so ito yung kanina dun sa ating step B dito. So 328.67 minus 18. So, saan mo nakuha itong 18? Ito yung kanina yung mean ng sample means. Okay, so, square mo lang siya. And then, 328.67 minus 324. So, saan nakuha yung 324? I-square mo lang yung 18. Then, subtract. So, the variance of the sample means is 4.67. And then doon naman sa standard deviation, ni-square root lang natin dito yung sa right side ng variance. Matatanggal yung square niya, lilipat natin magiging square root dito sa kabila. So, since nakuha natin ito, i-square root mo lang, then the square root of 4.67 is 2.16. So, the standard deviation of the sample means is 2.16. So, therefore, the variance and standard deviation of sampling distribution of the sample means are 4.67 and 2.16 respectively. So the variance of the population is 46.67 and the variance of sample means is 4.67, and also the standard deviation of the population is 6.83 and the standard deviation of sample means is 2.16. So therefore, the variance are not equal and the standard deviations are not also equal. So the standard deviation of the sampling distribution of the sample means is also known as the standard error of the mean. It measures the degree of accuracy of the sample mean as an estimate of the population mean. A good estimate of the mean is obtained if the standard error of the mean is small or close to 0, while poor estimate if the standard error of the mean is large. If we want to get a good estimate population mean, we have to make sample size n sufficiently large. Okay, so this fact is stated as theorem, which is known as the central limit theorem. So ito yung magiging topic natin sa next lesson natin. So example number 2. A group of ABM students in Seoul National High School plan to have an online business as part of their applied subject, entrepreneurship. Their shares are 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, and 6,000. A sample size of 2 is to be taken from this population as part of their market analysis. Complete the following tasks to help the ABM students in their market analysis. So we have to solve for the mean of the population, solve for the variance and standard deviation of the population, compare the population mean and the mean of the sample mean, solve for the mean of the sampling distribution of the sample means, solve the variance and standard deviation of sampling distribution of sample means, and compare the both variance and standard deviations. The solutions. So first we have to find the population mean. So the same dun sa ating unang step sa ating first problem or first example. Just add the x and then divided by the n, which is yung x natin dito is yung 2,000 plus 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 plus 6,000. Ito yung mga shares ng ABM students. And then divided by 5 kasi 5 yung shares nila. So is equal to, pag pinag-add mo to, 20,000 over 5. So 20,000 divided by 5 is equal to 4,000. Therefore, the population mean of the shares of the group of ABM students is 4,000 pesos. To solve for the variance and the standard deviation of the population, the given table will be utilized. So, ito yung shares nila, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, which is ito yung X. And then the total is 20,000. So, square lang natin yung kanilang shares, which is 2,000 square is 4 million. And then, so on dito, 9 million, 16 million, 25 million, and 36 million. And then you just add them, so 90 million. So this time we will solve for the variance of the population using the formula, which is the summation of x squared over n minus the square of the summation x over n. So we have the summation of x squared is 90 million, yung nandun sa table kanina, over 5 minus 20,000, which is ito yung total ng x natin or yung shares nila, over 5, then square mo siya. So 90 million divided by 5 is 18 million minus 20,000 divided by 5 is 4,000. Then squared mo siya. Then 18 million minus 4,000 squared is 16 million. So we have the variance now is 2 million. And then standard deviation, since nakuha natin yung variance, madali lang to, square root lang natin yung 2 million na variance. So we have the standard deviation is 1,414.214. So therefore, the variance of the population is 2 million and the standard deviation is 1,414.214. So next step is determine the possible samples of size 2. So dun sa ating problem, ang given niya is the possible samples of size 2. So 2 yung gagamitin natin dito. So use the formula NCN. So ayan. So the possible samples of size 2 is 10. So there are 10 possible samples of size 2 that can be drawn. So number 4, list all the possible samples and their corresponding means. So here are the possible samples. We have 2,000, 3,000, 2,000, 4,000, 2,000 and 5,000 and so on. So 10 itong lahat. And then the sample mean, which is yung mean nila, ang dalawa, which is 2,500, this one is 3,000, and so on hanggang dun sa 5,000 and 6,000, which is 5,500. So next, let's have construct the sampling distribution of table of the sample mean. So ito yung mga sample mean natin kanina, and then this is the frequency, and then their probability. So alam niyo kung paano kunin itong probability. This is the frequency over the total. So total over 10 or 1. And then compute the mean of the sampling distribution of sample means by multiplying the sample mean by the corresponding probability and then add the results. So ito yung mga sample mean natin kanina, and then multiply by its probability. So ito yon probability nila. So ito yung mga result. So 2,500 over 10, then 3,000 over 10, So 3,500 times 2 is 7,000 over, and then the denominator is 10, and then so on, and then you just add. So add mo yung numerator, so 40,000 over 10 or 4,000. So the mean of the sample means is equal to the summation of the product of the sample means and its probability. So ito yung nakuha natin dun sa last step, which is 40,000 over 10 equal to 4,000. So therefore the mean of the sampling distribution of the sample means is 4,000. The population mean is equal to 4,000 and the mean of the sample means is equal to 4,000. So therefore the mean of the population and the mean of the sample means are equal. Okay, number 7. To solve for the variance and the standard deviation of sampling distribution of sample means, ito yung mga steps na susundan natin. So the same dun sa unang problem natin. So the following formula will be utilized to solve for the variance and the standard deviation of the sampling distribution of sample means. So ito yung ginamit natin kanina. So construct the sampling distribution table for the sample means and square the sample means and multiply the result to the probabilities. So these are the sample means and then square mo lang siya. So 2,500 square is 6,250,000, and then so on. So the total is, pag i-add mo to, is 119 million. Then the probability, so multiply natin yung square ng sample means time its probability. So ito yung mga sagot na makukuha natin. Okay, and then just add them. So ang magiging sagot natin dito is 167,500,000 over 10 or 16,750,000. So using the data from the above table, compute for the variance standard deviation of the sample means. So we will solve now the variance and standard deviation. So the variance is, this is the formula. So substitute lang natin yung nakuha natin kanina sa mga previous steps. So ito yung sa last steps kanina, 16,750,000 minus the sample mean or the mean of the sample means, which is 4,000. Ito yung nakuha natin kanina din. Square mo lang siya. Then 16,750,000 minus the square of 4,000 is 16 million. So subtract natin. So magiging sagot niya is 750,000. So this is the variance of the sample means. Then the standard deviation, square root lang natin yung 750,000. So we have the variance of the sample means, which is 866.025. So therefore the variance and standard deviation of the sampling distribution of sample means are 750,000 and 866.025 respectively. So the variance of the population is 2 million and the variance sample means is 750,000. On the other hand, the standard deviation of the population is 1,414.214 and standard deviation of the sample mean is 866.0.025. So therefore, both are not equal. Kung mapapansin natin kanina, the sample mean and the population mean and the sample means are always equal. Okay, so that will be all for this discussion. So thank you for watching and good luck to your next activity.